And Election Day, only a few hours away now. It's going to be here like that, and millions of Americans have already cast their votes. Many more expected to do that tomorrow.
A big day here in Utah. According to the Lieutenant Governor's office, election staff across the state processed nearly 829,000 ballots as of this morning. Now, tomorrow, remember, it's the last day to vote. You cannot mail in your ballots since today was the last day to get them postmarked, but you can use a ballot drop box near you or drop off your ballot at an elections office or polling location. You have until 8 p.m. tomorrow.
Okay, 8 p.m. tomorrow. If you're not registered to vote yet, that's okay. You still have time, because in Utah, you can register at the polls on Election Day and cast what's called a provisional ballot. You'll need to show 2 acceptable forms of ID, one that verifies identity and one for proof of residence. And if you're already registered to vote in Utah, you must have a primary form of ID that's valid, has your name, a photograph, a driver's license, passport, military ID. A list of boxes and poll locations available at vote.utah.gov or from your local county clerk.
Okay, all things to keep in mind. And then a heads up for voters in Saratoga Springs. Election officials, they're asking you to not take the time to stop and take a selfie at the drop box. They say they've seen some long lines so far, so instead they're asking you to show respect to others who may be in line and don't interrupt the flow of traffic by slowing down and snapping a pic. And election intimidation or suppression, it's a concern for states across the county on Election Day, across the country rather, and to avoid any potential mishaps, the Weber County Elections Office is reminding voters of some important polling place practices.
Okay, some rules you got to follow there. One of the most important things to know is not to do anything to make it look like you're trying to intimidate other voters. Utah law prohibits campaign materials at polling places within 150 feet of ballot drop boxes. In Weber County, the sheriff's office will have increased security at polling places, we're told, and at the ballot drop boxes to prevent any kind of intimidation or threats.
We don't anticipate any problems. People who come to vote, they're passionate, but they're respectful. They understand the process and they respect the process.
And along with knowing what to avoid having with you while voting, it's best not to loiter around a ballot drop box. They say all of them have 24/7 security, and you may look like you're trying to intimidate voters, they say, if you stick around for too long.